Right. We welcome you to today's session in marketing, where we are looking at the third unit, and the third unit is conducting market research. So you need to learn and study how to to conduct a marketing research. You all may be aware that for us to satisfy the needs of our customers, right, and fulfill our responsibility as a company, okay, and that our customers need, okay, for us to gather the knowledge on the customer, on the market, it is actually through marketing research. We can do that by gathering the marketing research. So this unit actually does emphasize or help us to understand the marketing research that should be conducted in order for the management to generate adequate and actionable information that is accurate and useful for solving problems that affect our customers. So it is very, very important that we learn how to conduct a marketing research, right? So marketing research is defined as the process, right? Let's define it as the process or set of processes that links the producers and customers and the end users to the marketer through information used to identify and define marketing opportunities and problems, generating and refining and evaluating marketing actions, monitoring marketing performance, and improve understanding of marketing as a process. This is according to Wikipedia. So it is the systematic gathering, recording, and analyzing of the qualitative and quantitative data about the issues relating to marketing products and services. So that is what marketing research is all about. So the main idea for carrying out the marketing research is to find out the change in the consumer behavior due to the change in the elements of the marketing mix. That is the product, the price, the place, the promotion, right? So the marketers, you usually need to know about the changing trends in the marketing, namely the changes in the customers' tastes. We need to know the changes in the tastes and preferences of our customers, the new products that are launched in the market. We need understanding about the prices of the competitors' product and the close substitutes of the product, among others. These are the main things that we need to get to understand and appreciate. So the term marketing research is commonly used interchangeably, usually with market research. However, the practitioners have actually drawn the distinction between the two. So market research is usually concerned specifically with markets, whereas marketing research is concerned specifically about the entire marketing process. Right. So now, what are some of the main forms of marketing research? So the following are the main forms of marketing research that I should be able to look at. Number one, the main forms of marketing research include marketing segmentation, right? Marketing segmentation as the first one, right? What about marketing segmentation? So during the marketing segmentation, it's when you actually conduct the market segmentation studies. So it's actually when we generally ask the survey questions that usually are aimed at capturing the needs, the values, the attitudes, the behaviors, and usually the demographics, right? So when you are asking the general questions that hinge around capturing the needs, the values, the attitudes, the behaviors, and the demographics, that is marketing segmentation. So A company usually might also want to investigate the firmographic data, such as the company size, revenue, product category that are relevant to the industry in question. So marketing cannot actually effectively speak to every type of a person or a business at the same time. So one of the main goal of marketing segmentation is just to allow for more efficient and effective marketing techniques. That's why we do marketing segmentation. So without marketing segmentation, you'll understand that the companies are shooting just in the dark and wasting valuable bullets. So they may hit a customer by accident, but they would miss a lot of other customers if they don't segment the markets. So therefore, it is very, very important to segment the market. The product testing is another form. So under this one, a detailed understanding of how your product meets your customers' need is crucial both for the product development and marketing. So these types of marketing research studies, they need to be conducted through the product life cycle or the product life. That is very, very important. So you will know that you as a marketer should be able to make informed, go to decisions about few features and product being launched. So let's take, for example, the successful product testing actually should, number one, give insight into products or service viability by investigating the competing and substitute alternatives alongside customers' willingness to embrace a new product or service. Number two, the successive product testing should determine competitive advantage as well as the possible threats from similar products or services. It should be able to identify the products with the highest revenue potential. And again, it should be able to help us clarify what improvements should be prioritized before a product is actually launched. It should allow us to pinpoint which product features are most important to your target audience, and it should help you to produce the market messages to change or enhance existing perceptions about your product or the service that you are offering. The other form of marketing research is advertising testing. So with advertising testing, it's like a product testing, right? So tests of your advertising campaigns actually can save you valuable time and resources. So by taking a potential campaigns directly to your audience and engaging their response, you can actually focus on creating true impactful advertising. If you can test the advertising, you do the first advert, you test, check the response, analyze the responses, right? That can really help you as you make the decision in advertising. Satisfaction and loyalty analysis is another form, right, of marketing research. So under satisfied customers, you find that most of the times, the satisfied customers are not necessarily the loyal customers, but consistently measuring customer satisfaction is a great way to increase customer retention that you have to get, right? That if you can consistently be there measuring the satisfaction to the customers, that can actually be a great way to increase the customer retention, because in as much as you would want to have the new customers, it is also important that you should be able to get the new, to retain the already existing customers. And for you to retain them, you need to be able to keep on satisfying them. So now, the goals of these kinds of studies where you are doing a satisfaction and loyalty analysis is that their goals are to determine what factors influence loyalty, advocacy, and repeat purchases, including product or services attributes, company operations, customer services, price, promotion, among others. So those are the factors that it's one of actually of the goals of such kind of the studies. It's actually to carefully monitor overall satisfaction, recommendation likelihood, and defection likelihood over time. So these studies actually also have a goal to provide early warnings about emerging gaps in product or service performance, customer service, processes that might lead to customer defections. Those are some of the main goals, to provide early warnings about the emerging gaps in the product or service performance, in the customer service, the gaps in the processes that might also lead to customer defection. Those things have to be identified, and then the warnings have to be given. The goals are there to help identify areas of the product or service that need improvement to meet changing needs. And actually, it is also the goal of these studies to guide the creation or ongoing development of customer loyalty and retention programs. It is their goal actually to signal when organizational changes need to be made to improve operations and customer retention. So those are some of the main goals of these studies, or the kind of these studies. Another form of market research is brand awareness and reach, right? It hinges around brand awareness and reach. So when you do a regular, well-designed brand awareness survey, you can actually keep tabs on how effective your marketing campaigns really are. So when done right, a brand awareness survey can help you measure the following things. A brand awareness survey can help you, number one, to have the brand recall. Now, under brand recall, we mean that a customer should be able to spontaneously recall your brand, or do recall your brand without, need of thinking of the first competitor, right? So brand recall is a question that hinges around, can a customer spontaneously recall your brand, or do they think of a competitor first? Are they able to recall the brand? Okay, are they able to recognize the brand? So when the brand has been presented with a list of brands, like when the customers have been presented with a list of brands, okay, do they recognize yours as a reputable option, right? It should help in brand identity, right? Brand identity is what you, as a marketing team, create. It's important to determine whether these efforts are being successful, right? The brand image is also one of the measures. All right, the brand awareness can help you measure brand image, right? So we know that brand identity is created by the brand itself. Now, a brand's image is based purely on customers' perception, okay? So when you are able to track the disparities in these two, okay, you can review the gaps in your marketing efforts. So that is very, very important. You need the customers to be there singing, being a praise team for the government, or for the company, right? They should be there to be the ones that your evangelists kind of there singing and telling others about this product that you're offering. Now, the brand trust is also one of the things that we can measure through brand awareness, okay? For example, in these periods of data breaks, keeping tabs on your levels of brand trusting is actually key. So in your brand, if your brand does not actually appear trustworthy, you will have difficulty in retaining customers. So customers would want to test, is your brand really, is your brand really trustworthy? Brand loyalty as well is also one of the elements. So customers can become evangelists, just as I did say previously that. But actually you need to consistently track loyalty levels to determine how often this transformation is happening. Brand loyalty as well can be measured through brand awareness. Customer profile changes in your core customer base may signal the need for a pivot, either in the product or in your marketing messages, or both of them. So can help you measure the customer profile, among others. The sixth, right? The sixth market research form is pricing research. So this is where you conduct the surveys, asking customers to choose between the different, right? You try to ask your customers to choose between the different products with unique features, price points, typically done via conjoint analysis. It can help you to identify what features are most valuable in your audience and what they would be willing to pay for. So combining with some basic research on your competitors' pricing, these insights can actually give you a distinct advantage in pricing your product or your services. So it's not actually an issue of just, wake up and say, we are going to price our products or our services at this amount, because when you're pricing, actually, you are signaling the value of the product or the service, the services that you are actually offering. So when the way how you price, actually, it has much more to do, of course, with how people will perceive the quality of the product that you have to offer. Now, let's learn how you can know which type of research to use. I've talked about the different forms of research. Now, which type of research can you use? So actually, you will learn that when to use each of these research, it can just be dependent on the quality and the type of information that we want to get, as especially as a business, right? We want to know the business issues we are dealing with in one more of the key areas. And the areas would actually include, number one, the awareness. In the area of awareness, what type of information do we want? Let the market know that the product or service exists. Targeting. In the area of targeting as well, this is where we aim at reaching the target segments with the highest profit potential. And acquisition, the area of acquisition is where we optimize the marketing messages, the offer, price, actually, that we close the sale. Retention is also another area where we generate repeat purchases from the current customers. That is called retention. Are we able to have the same customers? You can now see from this chart, right? The relevant, it's called the relevant wheel, right? The relevant wheel that shows us when it is most appropriate and relevant to conduct different types of research, right? The different types of research. Let me comment on the relevant wheel. The relevant wheel. Number one. So there is the type of time of awareness, attitudes, and the usage messages. Research can be used, public relations research, advertising research. All these, they can be done with the center of the of awareness, right? Their focus is awareness, creating awareness. When you want to target the audience, right, you can do market segmentation. You can position or brand research. You can research the brand, or you can also do what is called an industry and competitive analysis at the same time. All these research, they are targeted at giving you skills on how to target the market. Right. The research can either be qualitative or quantitative at the same time. There is also the focus, the area of acquisition. Yeah, acquisition. So this is where you test the concept. You can optimize the product. You can research also on the prices. You can research on advertising and the usability testing. How people will be using. Are they going to use our product? Do they really need it? Okay. So all these types of research, they are hinging around or pointing to acquisition. So you carry them out when you want to acquire the new customer. But what about when you want to retain, when your goal is to retain customers? This is where you can do a customer satisfaction or loyalty analysis. You can also do a customer communication testing, usability testing, customer experience, or the shopper insights. That is where you can retain, that's when you can retain customers. So it's very, very important and so significant that you understand these different areas and what type of research to conduct. So now, when you come to marketing research process, there are actually steps to be followed in marketing research. The first one is to define the problem definition. To develop the research plan is the second one. The third is to collect the information. To analyze the information is the fourth step. On the fifth step is where you present the findings after you've analyzed the information. And lastly is where you make now the decision. So these are the steps that are there in the market research. What about defining the problem? So you can even agree as an individual that if you want to find out a solution to any problem, you need to begin by defining the problem. Exactly, right? So when you define the problem appropriate as a firm, you must have a clear answer to the question such as what is to be researched on and why the research is to be done, okay? Why the research is to be done, what's the relevance of that particular research, right? So you can see now that it's also important to develop, right, the research plan, okay? Now, we have a lot of steps, we have a good number of steps that are involved in gathering the information relevant to research objectives, and they include number one, data sources. As a researcher, okay, you can collect the data pertaining to the research problem from either the primary data sources or from the secondary data sources, or both of the sources, right? So the primary source is the first finding data that does not exist in any books, any research reports, any articles, any news, any writings. Then the second one is the second-hand data, which is available actually in the books, is there in the articles, it is also there in the journals, it is there in reports. So you determine where you can get the data. Sources of data are very, very important. Research approaches, with the research approaches, the secondary data are readily available in the books, in the journals, in the magazines, in the reports online. You can also check those data. Now, but the primary data have to be collected, and to do so, the following research can be conducted, actually. When you want to deal with the primary data, you can conduct an observational research, right? So when you're conducting an observational research, this is when you as a researcher can collect the information by just observing the happenings in the market. And sometimes you can have a friendly conversation, right, with the customer to know what their purchase experiences are. This is where you do observational research. There is also what you call ethnographic research. Now with this, it's one form, okay, of observational research, where the researcher actually studies an individual in real life situations and not under any market setup or a lab, right? So the purpose of this research is to know the way people live, their lifestyle, their standard of living, what they do to earn their livelihood, how they consume goods and services, what they need in their personal and professional lives, what do they actually need. That kind of research is called an ethnographic research. We also have got what is known as a focus group research. This is where you, it's a form of group discussion, right? Wherein maybe 6, somewhere to 10 people gather and they're there to discuss the common topic given by the moderator. And usually this moderator is a person who conducts the group discussion and is skilled actually in group dynamics. He keeps the conversation usually directed towards the relevant information that they want to observe. The other type of research that you can conduct to get the primary data is the survey research. Now, with the survey research, this is where the descriptive research generally, is conducted to know the above, to know about the customer's knowledge about the product, their preferences and their satisfaction levels, right? But the best way to conduct survey is through the questionnaires. Usually people create questionnaires. The questionnaires, those are just documents with a lot of questions, with some questions that are dedicated on the type of information you'd want to get. Then you give the questionnaire, people are answering. All right. There is also what you call the behavioral data, right? Behavioral data. Now, with the behavioral data, the customer's actual purchases at the store reflect its behavior and the choice of product. Now, when observing what customers are buying, that actually gives you more accurate information about the customers, okay, rather than the planned answers given by them in surveys. When you give them a survey, ask them the question, they even think, they plan, sometimes they even lie because maybe they are uncomfortable. But when you observe them without asking them questions, you are most likely to get much, much more info. This is not a behavioral data. Now, experimental research is done to find out the cause and effect relationship, right? Now, with the research, it is actually undertaken to study the effects of change in the customer's behavior due to the changes in the product attributes. Right. Then you should look at the sampling, the sampling methods. We have looked at the sources of data when you're developing a research plan, of course. We have looked at data sources, we have looked at the research approaches. Now we can look at sampling plan. Once the research approach is decided, the researcher has to design a sampling plan and have to decide on the following: the sampling unit, whom, okay, shall we survey, where are we going to sample from, what will be the size of our sample. That is the question that hinges around how many people should be there, right? How many units in the population shall be surveyed? What's the sampling procedure? How the respondents shall be chosen? Okay, that plan is very, very important. And you can also look at the contact method, right? This is where the researcher has to choose the medium through which the respondents can be contacted. The respondent can be reached via emails. Can you contact them via email? You can still contact them via telephones. You can still contact them in person or online. You can still do that, right? Now, collecting the information is very, very critical, right? What about collecting the information? This is when it's actually one of the most expensive methods of marketing research, right? At this stage, the researcher has to adopt the method to collect the information. He may find it difficult to gather the correct information because of the respondent's vastness and unwillingness to give answers or notes at home. It's very difficult. When you start asking people the questions, they might even give you biased answers. For example, you ask people, how, if you're researching on their earnings capacity, how much do you get paid? Even the people who get even in low salaries, maybe they would want to paint some picture, they're uncomfortable telling you what they get paid, they start even lying, inflating the figures, among others. So those are some of the problems that we find. We need also to analyze the information. Now, once the information has been collected, then you have to organize it in such a way that some analysis can be obtained. Now, the researcher applies several statistical techniques to perform the analysis, such as they compute the averages, they measure the dispersions, okay? And some advanced decision models are used to analyze the data. And actually, right at this point, I can even encourage you to enroll at the same Institute of Technology, Amazing Excellence, in courses such as data analysis using the statistical packages for social sciences, SPSS, using Excel. You can analyze data using Excel. You can also learn how to analyze the data using Stata, using eViews, using R. So data analysis in general is the skill that we offer even as the Institute. So you can choose which one of them you want to do. We recommend you study data analysis. That can really be useful too. You also need to learn how to present the findings. Okay, you have gotten the findings through your research. Okay, then you have to show the top management, okay, such as the managing director, the chief executive officer, the board of directors, to make the market decision in line with the research that you have actually done. Then the decision is made lastly. So under the decision making, this is actually the last step, as I told you, right? Once the findings are presented to the top level management, it is actually up to them either to rely on the findings or take decisions or discard the findings as unsuitable. So marketing research is done to gather all the relevant information about the market and design the marketing strategies accordingly. So never neglect marketing research. It's very, very crucial and very necessary. Now, a marketing information system is a management information system. This is where we're looking at something else there. Now, it is actually designed to support marketing decisions. This is according to Joba 2007, he defined it as a system in which marketing data is formally gathered, it is stored, it is analyzed, and distributed to managers in accordance with their information needs on a regular basis. That is marketing information system. Now, the above are the elements of marketing information system. So there are what we call the internal records, the marketing intelligence system, right? There is marketing research here, there is marketing decision supporting system. All these, this is the marketing information system, or in all. It has all these elements, internal records where you record, and there is the marketing intelligence system, there's marketing research, and the marketing decision supporting system. Okay, so the system actually, the marketing system is built on an understanding of the information needs of the management. Okay, this applies that information when, where, and how the management requires it. Okay, so usually these data are derived from the marketing environment. They are transferred into the information that marketing managers can use in their decision making. So the difference between data and information is as follows, because we are telling you that information and data is not the same. The data are the most basic form of knowledge, right? The brand of butter, for example, sold to a particular customer is in a certain town, right? This statistic is of little worth in itself, but many become meaning with other data when you combine different of them. So it's just more like raw information that you use, raw information before the information becomes information. Those bits, the units that you can use to make information are called data. Now, information is a combination of data that provide decision relevant knowledge, right? When you combine the data in such a way that it can provide relevant decision relevant knowledge, then that is called the information. For example, the brand preferences of customers in a certain age category or in a particular geographical region. Let's look at the internal records now as the first unit, the first part of the marketing information system. So under this one, you find that the company can actually collect information through its internal records, comprising of the sales data, how much have we sold, under the customer database, right? Under customer database, under product database, under financial data or operations data. So the detailed explanation of the internal sources of data is given actually below. So the information can be collected through the documents such as invoices. You can get that information from the transmit copies from the billing document prepared by the firms once they receive the order for the goods and services from the customer, dealers, or the sales representatives. So you can also get that one from the current sales data. Okay, that should be actually maintained on a regular basis. That serves as an aid to the marketing information system. We need that information so that it can help us. The reports on current sales and the inventory levels help the management to decide on its objectives. So the marketers can use all this information to design their future sales strategy. Okay. You can know that the companies usually they maintain a lot of database, right? Several databases, right? For example, they maintain customer database. This is where the complete information about the customer's name, address, phone number, is kept, right? Phone numbers, the frequency of purchases, the financial position is actually saved. Then the product database is where the complete information about the product prices, their features, their variant is also stored. And salesperson database is where the complete information about the salesperson, their name, their address, their phone number, their sales target is also saved. So the company will store all these data. Very important. Marketing intelligence system under this unit is actually is there to provide the data about the happenings in the market, right? That is the data related to the marketing information environment, which is external to the organization. It includes the information about the changing market trends. So the competitors' pricing strategy, the change in the customer's tastes and preferences, the new product that is launched in the market, the promotion strategy of the competitors, among others. Right, those are some of the things included in this information. Now, in order to have an efficient marketing information system, the companies should work aggressively to improve the marketing intelligence system by taking the following steps. Number one, they should provide the proper training and motivating to the sales force to keep a check on the market trends. That is the change in the tastes and preferences. They should motivate the channel partners, such as the dealers, the distributors, and the retailers who are in actual market to provide the relevant and necessary information about the customer and the competitors. So the companies can also improve their marketing intelligence system by getting more and more information about the competitors. Okay. Usually this can be done by purchasing the competitor's product or attending their trade shows or reading the competitors' published articles in magazines or journals or financial reports. So you have to read, very important to read. And that can actually give you the information. So you find that companies can actually use the government data to improve its marketing information system. The data can be relating to maybe the population trends, the demographic characteristics, the agricultural production, among others. Those demographic characteristics and the population movement, the companies can actually use them. The company can purchase the information about the marketing environment from the research companies who carry out the research on all the players in the market. By the way, they are researching institutes that are just there to gather data for you. They are there in the market. So you can also buy data from them. Usually it is costly to buy high quality data, but you can buy, instead of you starting conducting research and everything, you might start thinking business is very hard, but you can just ask from the research firm. The research firms usually, they are well informed because they have all this information on their fingertips, being a research institute, a knowledge hub. So they know this and they can easily advise and guide you properly. Marketing research. So marketing research is a systematic collection, organization, analysis, and interpretation of the primary or the secondary data to find out the solutions to the marketing problems. So you see that several companies conduct marketing research to analyze marketing environment comprising of the changes in the customer tastes, the preferences, the competitors' strategies. You have to check all those. The scope of the new product launch. You can apply the statistical tools in order to conduct the market research actually. The last one is the decision-making, the marketing decision support system. Actually, it's also the last system in the marketing information system. So the marketing decision support system, it includes several of software programs that can be used by the marketers to analyze the data, collecting so far, or to take better marketing decision. With the use of computers, the marketing managers can save the huge data in a tabular form and can apply statistical programs to analyze these data and make the decisions in line with the findings. So that the marketers need to keep a check on the marketing environment, both internal and external, and that usually is done. Is there any question? If you don't have a question, have been a wonderful class for today. See you again.